Hello, hello.
Hi, everybody. Oh my
Welcome.
gosh. Welcome.
Back to another episode of Everything
And nothing.
with your hosts. I am someone.
I'm Anishka. Hey, everybody.
And we're back in the saddle after about a month of hiatus.
Yeah, it feels like it's been forever.
Yep.
I know. And this morning, I just got to be honest, I'm pretty freaking tired.
Yeah.
And I was like a mixed bag coming over here. Like, I mean, I love talking, but
I love doing nothing also.
exactly. I like recuperating.
Yep.
I don't know about you all, but it's been it's June, right? It's been busy month.
Busy bees.
Seems
Buzz,
like
buzz,
everybody
buzz.
is as we're going into this summer. It's like everybody's like everything's just like psh, go.
Yeah.
Do. Yeah.
The world is alive. The light is out. The sun is
Yeah.
up. Everything's
also-
green and growing.
Yeah, and I mean I love it. I'm really happy with the way things are, and and yet I also woke up a little vulnerable today. Just a little like my cup's a little empty, so I'm having to refuel.
That cup looks half full
yeah,
to me.
this cup's half full, but my internal cup's a little half empty.
The energy reserves are depleted.
Yeah. So that's always got to work on that beautiful balance, right? Constantly working on that balance.
Yeah, me too.
Lots of things happening for us both personally, I know. And that's part of why we had to take a break, because we just couldn't do it. There's just too much change happening, which is cool.
A lot of shifts.
A
lot of energy changing. Yep.
In the world, inner, outer.
And hopefully for the best.
Yeah. And hope this finds you guys well. So we're glad you can be here with us and join us for this hour.
Or so. I don't remember who went first last time. Do you have any clue?
I think
It was me, was it?
did.
Was it me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it was me. Thank goodness gracious for that.
Yeah. Well, usually I feel very inspired and I have something I'm thinking about. My life has been so busy. I was kind of like, I'm kind of winking it this morning. So I'm not really going to bring a word. I'm bringing a concept.
Perfect. I love it.
So, just a really quick cap. So I hired an intern and I'm changing my job. You all know I'm, moving into more of a podcast virtual business. And, so I've been thinking a lot about, the change that it takes to move into those kinds of changes, and so the concept that's been coming up the last few days is from a movie actually I watched a long time ago called Field of Dreams. And the iconic line was, if you build it,
They will come.
they will come. And so I want to talk about that. I want to talk about, what do you want to build? And what's standing in the way? And what are the pitfalls? And what is it, what are you not doing that you really know you need and want to be doing and want to do? And I don't know. I just kind of want to unpack that whole concept.
Okay. We could try to wrap our minds around that.
Yeah.
I mean, so the question is, I feel like that phrase was about Rome. Was it Rome? You build it and they will come. Like you build the
Was
city.
that the original one?
That's where my mind wants to go. I don't know if it's true or not. But neurons crossfire sometimes, as you know.
Making shit
But
up.
yeah, if you build it, they will come. That's how a new town starts. That's how a new company arises. You have to have the idea and the vision, and really, if you build something beautiful, whether it's a piece of art, piece of music, a piece of architecture, people will come and see it. There's a lot of things you can build also that are ugly and nobody's ever going to want to come see. I've built a lot. I have a long 40-year-old trail of things behind me that I've built that nobody seems to have noticed. Nobody seems to have cared, and they still stand there. So I guess, what do you want to build and how do you want to build it?
Yeah.
And then if that building offers value, absolutely people will show up.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, I remember watching that movie with Kevin Costner, and I love the movie in general, but I remember that really got into my cells, and I would think about that, like, well, what is it that I really want to build? Like that was the first question that it really brought up for me. Like, what could I build? That's my dream in my heart. That's my passion.
Yeah.
Because I feel like right now we're in a place in the world where and you're hearing everybody talk about it. It's the buzzword. It's like, there are no rules right now. Everything is kind of like open, like the world is kind of opening up with all this new technology and the way the world's all shaken up. It's like anything kind of is possible right now. And so I feel like whatever, all the professionals that I've been listening to and watching are like, what do you want to create? Because right now it's equal. The playing field is kind of being equalized, and part of that is with AI, which you may have strong opinions and emotions about, whatever. But even take that aside, there's something in the water that's being, that's or the field of energy that's like anything is possible right now. So what is it you're passionate about?
Yeah. So real quick, internalize, anybody watching this, internalize yourself and ask yourself, what is it that you want to build, right? What is it that you're passionate about? What do you want to manifest your own energy into in this world to create and then to bring people in on? And I've been asking myself that. My personal journey is with the business I'm trying to build. It's been basically a 3-4 year construction project at this point of just building a product and scribbling on papers and crumpling them up and throwing them in the corner wastebasket and trying again and learning to code and learning to build websites. And now I'm at the point where I'm trying to figure out, what the hell sales are and what the hell marketing is, which are whole other worlds of knowledge, which I have no idea about. So building really, you start with the idea, and then you have to, if you want your building to stand the test of time, you have to put in the time to really understand and build the foundation first. Yeah. And that takes, as I've learned, a lot more time and energy than, Hollywood movies would have you believe. I remember watching movies back in the day, and like the eureka point where you have the vision, where you have the invention. It's like, oh, okay, everything's done. That was the hard part. But the hard part is laying the bricks. The hard part is going out there and leveling the dirt. It's going out there and making sure that everything is in bedrock and is going to stand up when you start to build it. Otherwise, you might invest, years of your life into something it just turns out to be a card castle, and then one gust of wind, it all comes tumbling down, right? So, I mean, it's easy to say build it and they will come, but to build the Sistine Chapel, they come, they look at it, but that took, thousands of people putting, tons and tons of energy and planning into existence.
And wasn't it like decades? I mean, it took like
probably 100 years, probably.
Yeah. I can't remember.
Generations,
now, but
I
like
imagine.
Lots of time.
Most of those big architectural, marvels that still stand and still invoke a sense of awe when we see them today. Those were the people that designed them often did not live to see them completion. To see them finished, to see the finished piece of work. And that's with architecture. Obviously, building Rome is different than building a business, or is different than building a relationship. But they all take the same inspiration, the same vision, and then the same dedication to the craft and the investment of your time and your energy.
Yeah, absolutely. And the word that comes up is perseverance, because I think that's what I've been experiencing, is that there has to be this incredible through line of something that feels like it's so deeply wanted or so deeply needing to be expressed that in all of the lows, and there's a lot of lows, that you continue to pick up that through line. You have a tool chest to help you get through those moments of, why am I doing this? Is this good enough? Is it, it's going to be a failure? Like all of those different scripts, right? And one of the pieces that, like one of the things that I think stops a lot of people, because I was saying like, well, what's in the way? Maybe you don't have a big enough why. Maybe it isn't really the true desire, because I've tried a lot of things and I was like, oh man, that is not really truly what I want, because I didn't have enough to get through the hard parts. I was like, no. But the other thing is, I've been really evaluating the word with this, if you build it, they will come, is I feel like, you have to really deal with the whole failure thing. Because I used to think of like, oh, well, why even try, because it's not going to work? Or, you try things and then it would be like, oh my gosh, that's awful. I didn't do it right or this or that. And now I've matured into my life into a place where everything is data. Everything is data. So I don't believe the word failure really exists. I think it should be changed. I don't think it exists because, or maybe the only failure would be if you don't ever try and do anything. That's a failure. But every time I have worked towards my dream and building something and it doesn't work out, guess what? I just collected a whole bunch of information and experience, and now I apply it this way, or I tweak that, or I try that, or I call this person, and it's like, so that whole fear around building it now doesn't really exist as far as like, oh, but it's not, what if it doesn't work? Who cares? I mean, you just, and that has really been a big part of my journey of building it and this new business. Cause I mean, I'm like 63 and people are like, why are you starting a new business? Because I
want to.
Because I feel so inspired.
Yeah.
And I want to keep giving and being of service to the world.
Failure is real, but I think failure is more of a mindset. I think failure, comes about when you have the mindset of giving up and surrendering, which both of those things also are the right choice sometimes. Sometimes you're going down, like you said, you choose a path, you think it's the right path, you start going down it. You get 6 months, a year, a couple years into it, and you realize this isn't for me, right? So now you want to pivot. So you quit that path and you move somewhere else. That is a failure, sure. It's also a pivot. It's also a coming to terms with reality and what your true desires are. Sometimes failure is, in that context, is the right choice and is a success. So sometimes failure is success. It often, as long as you don't give up and you keep moving towards something else, because at the end of the day, life is just, this lesson that we're here. We run in a direction. We learn what we can. We make as much progress as we can. And then in my experience, you pivot. I pivoted many, 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 many times.
Yeah.
I probably will again. But I have a lot of years put into a lot of different crafts, which really, professionally haven't really served me, but have all come together to help, facilitate certain hobbies and to help create certain pieces of my current business, which I'm bringing about into fruition.
Yeah.
So like you said, they're data points, they're experiences to learn from, and it's just about how you frame it, right?
Yeah, I think that's absolutely correct. Yeah, and it's interesting because as I've been moving into my new business too, it's funny because we're both doing businesses. Mine's called Got Shui. Yep. And I mean, there's a lot of lows, and I really wanted to share this with all of you because I feel like the thing that has gotten me through is to not isolate. Like, we have conversations. I talk to people. I share like, wow, this happened and I don't know if I'm going to do it anymore. I mean, one of the things I was going to build is I wanted to be a writer, right? And and I am a writer, but about 2 years ago, I was just like, I'm done writing. I'm not going to write anymore. And it was because I just had this toxic relationship with it, right? And I had to put it away for sometimes. So my thought is that, like, sometimes it's like coming out of that isolation and just sharing and like can help clarify, like, what are you dreaming? Like, what is that for you? And to keep going, because that's really what it is. It's like, it's having that stick to itness. It's that deep desire. And I kind of lost my thought there. So sorry, guys.
So in the movie Field of Dreams, what did they build? They built a baseball diamond.
Yeah.
They built a team. They built
and it was a magical baseball field that
ghosts could play on.
Could come back from time, and people would come and watch these and have this. And so it actually saved the farm because they were, going in debt and going to lose the farm.
But they built a baseball diamond.
Yeah.
But what they really built was like a community, somewhere where people could like have fun and like engage and like come together.
Come back to their childhood spirit and find their own love and passion.
That's one thing I've been thinking a lot about as far as like building a company is concerned. I think of the word company. It's an organization of people that all are working towards the same goal. It's also the company you keep. It's the people around you. It's like your inner circles of friends. Because when, as an adult, most of the friends you make are at the company that you work at, right? Because that's where you spend the most time. So in building a company, one of the things I'm trying to keep forefront in my mind is like, who do I want to work with? What group of people are going to be good to be around that we can enjoy as if we're playing a game, like on a baseball diamond, right? Like the company you keep and the people you surround yourself with, I think are ultimately going to play a big part in whether you succeed or slip into a mindset of failure.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. How do you feel about company?
Oh, like a company? Well, I haven't really ever worked in companies, but well, maybe when I was younger, but I understand exactly what you're saying, and I would apply that because I've always been self-employed, and maybe, I work with clients one-on-one, or maybe a training with a few group of people, right? But what I will say, as far as the concept of who you're around, I think that can also be applied to just the people that I surround myself with every day. Like if I go to networking groups, or I go to different things, or I have a social, it's like I definitely have been noticing that I tend to want to hang out with and gravitate more towards people who are looking at life as the glass half full. Like it's because it's like being around people who are like continually complaining and negative and like we're doomed and everything is going to hell in a handbasket. And again, I'm not saying be a Pollyanna. I'm just saying that I choose to kind of be around people who are like, let's do something about this, rather than let's just complain about how everything's broken and effed up, because that's going to go nowhere. So I do understand that concept of the kind of people to be with, and
we draw from one another.
Yeah, absolutely.
We draw inspiration from one another.
Yeah.
We draw pessimism from one another.
Yes.
The company you keep will set you up for a success mindset or a failure mindset. So really, whether it's building an actual organization that's going to generate revenue and be an actual company, or whether it's, the temple or or it's Rome, whatever you're building, you do have to have the right company around you. You have to have the right people around you.
And I think that you have a choice. Like, I don't like going like, oh my God, these people are so blah, blah, blah. I think that, one of the things that I've been learning about as far as like, the company you keep is that it isn't necessarily about making others bad or wrong, but it's like just shining the light, and like giving that hope and, like, cause maybe it's like, we all have the power to make a change in a room, and I love to listen to people. So it isn't necessarily about like, oh, I don't want to be around them. But if people are going to be in that constant state, it's like, I'll still love them and hang out with them. It's just not going to be in a regular, context.
Yeah, I've had plenty of people that we have so much difference that we do diverge to the point I no longer talk to them. Part of the bush of friendship, as I kind of look at it, you got to prune it every now and then, right? You only have so much energy in a day. So really, where do I want to spend that energy?
Yes.
And even with the, smallish friend pool that I have right now, I still feel like stretched to my limits, right? Like a little bit like too much butter over, too little butter over toast. Just like scraped real thin across the board.
Yeah.
Right. So you gotta know who to let go and when to let go.
Yeah, I agree with that. I totally agree with that.
That's why I say, you're fired.
Yeah. Good.
Nope, not really.
I know. Anyway, I don't know. I think that feels about good.
Yeah. So what bricks are you building right now?
Oh my gosh, that would take too long. So, the bricks that I'm building, so I just hired an intern and I'm creating my new website for Gotch Shui. I was going to try and launch my new business about in March, and I just was way over my head. So I had to pull everything back. And so what I'm building right now is like a structure, a foundation you were talking about. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's like, I'm really organizing my business and getting my files and working with my intern to create these systems that I can use. And I've got tons of content. And one of the things I'm really excited about is I've been collecting my journals since I was 13, and I'm going to be doing a lot of work in series and writing my memoir eventually. But I've been scanning all of that information in, and so there's a lot of like big foundation. And I'm hoping like by September I'll be able to have my first podcast series. But it's really about like just learning a lot of technology. Mm-hmm. Learning the whole podcast system, learning how to, create modules for programs. And so it's exciting though, because I'm really, I'm I probably learned more about technology in the past month or so, 2 months, than I have in my entire life.
Yeah, you're doing pretty good for a grandma.
I know. It's like, I'm really impressed.
Yep.
I'm really impressed. And then on a personal note, it's like, after cancer, it's like there were still parts of me that are like, oh, I can't, I'm too sick and I have to rest. And I've been really busting through those last layers of being ill, because when you get so sick, you are taken so far back, you know, that it takes a while to move out of that sedentary, because you're so afraid you're going to hurt yourself again or get sick again. And so it's taken like 11 years of increments of healing and moving past those. I can't do that. I can't do that. And I just, this last 2 weeks, I feel like went through my last cancer old, you know, like, oh, I have to lay down and rest now. And I'm like, oh, I don't anymore. I'm healthy, you know? And so I'm really, really excited about all the bricks I'm laying and where it's all going to go. And I'll leave it there. There's so much, but cool. That's, yeah.
Yep.
And how about you?
I mean, so one thing I'll say about building a business, and, you know, in a couple of years from now, depending on whether I'm successful or not, maybe take this advice or don't. But, you know, at any given time, like every week, we sit down and think a little bit about where we're at and like what the smartest, like what the options are that we have in front of us. And there's too much to do, right?
Yeah.
There's too many options to choose from with a full-time 40-hour-a-week job on top of it. So you have all these bricks laid out, all these pieces of the structure laid out. And every week you got to like look at it and say, okay, this is probably the most important piece to put into the puzzle next.
Yeah.
Because you have to, you know, you can't put the roof on till the walls are up, and you can't put the walls up till the foundation's done. So there is a very kind of, you know, order that you want to try and follow to make sure you're not just spinning your wheels in the mud and going nowhere.
Oh, absolutely.
So right now, you know, I've come to the conclusion that the most important piece of what I'm doing, which is, you know, this new product, this new invention, belt shelf, I really am lacking a coherent instructional to like really demonstrate how to use the thing. So I'm scared that my product's getting into the hands of people that don't really know how to use it, and it's failing in their minds because they don't have an adequate way to follow it. So yeah, I'm at the point now where I'm trying to get a video production up to get a nice instructional video done. And so, you know, this is like the thinking process that we have trying to build something. Any input, any advice, we'd much love. And whatever you're building, whether it's a field of dreams, whether it's your own house, whatever it is, you know, really sit with yourself for a couple minutes and ask, you know, what's the next step? And get into that routine. Come back and reevaluate. Re-brainstorm and see what potential avenues you haven't explored yet. And lay out the map. Right.
Yes.
And then keep coming back to that map and keep drawing it out further and keep choosing a new direction to step in.
Yeah.
And then, you know, like we said, some of those you'll come back a week later or a month later and say, oh, that was a waste of time.
Yeah.
But was it a failure? No, because your map's more complete.
Yep. Yeah. And and it's funny because it kind of goes back to that isolation thing that I really believe in. But we call I started calling us the dream team because we come together, you know, once a week or every other week, and we brainstorm. And it's a lot more helpful if you do it with someone or a group of people. And because sometimes other people can see your blind spots. You know, and can be like, well, what about that? And sometimes you're like, I'm not sure what the best next step is. And somebody will be like, well, what about this and this and this? And I don't know, I find it extremely helpful, those meetings, and inspirational. And I love it. I love us getting together and doing that. And I just thought about that. So we're about ready to, we're both, I didn't realize this, but we're kind of on the same wavelength with our businesses. Neither one of us have launched our websites, but we're both pretty close, so maybe we'll do it at the same time.
Yeah.
Ready, get set, push, go.
Yep. Shoot that starting pistol.
Anyway, I love all that, what you said. And so yeah, just keep exploring, like, what do you want to build? What do you want to dream? Like, what do you want to do? And then also in those like, what's in your way? Pull them apart, make it little particles. Whatever it is, you know, if it looks like it's too big of a thing, we'll unpack what that obstacle is too, because you can make it bite-sized pieces. Anyway,
little Reese's pieces.
Yeah, we'll have to come and do a check-in. Like, okay, where are we now with our build it? Yeah. So we'll keep you guys updated.
Lay the map out, Yep.
Yeah, yeah. But whatever you are, whatever you're doing, hang in there. Keep going. Good job. Dream, dream, dream.
Keep building it.
Keep building it. Keep going.
Yep.
Yay. All right.
Yep.
I think we're going to take a little break.
Roger that.
Okay. We'll see you guys in a minute. Looks like the sun's trying to come out.
Yes, yes.
I always get
Getting
nervous
shiny,
when it's your
getting
turn.
shiny. Why? Because I'm going to blindside you
Because you're
with
going to say
topic?
some stuff, and I'm like, my brain cannot handle that today.
Well, I have a topic, but I don't know very much, so you're going to have to do most of the talking
No.
about this one. I wanted to talk about the affliction of addiction
Oh, God.
and what it means, why we all are susceptible to it. What are our vices? What might they be preventing us from accomplishing? And why is it so human? Addiction. What are your first thoughts on that word?
Well, I mean, of course, it comes up with all the things that I'm actually working on in my own addiction life.
Of course.
My own personal addictions. Which, oh my gosh, there's a lot. I mean, the first one is like my addiction to sugar, and I've had a lot of food issues in my life. Addiction to having a lot of anxiety around food and being in a fight and flight stance with food. It's like, oh, can I eat? Can I not eat? Is this too much? Oh, that's the wrong thing. Oh, there's an addiction to that pattern of not trusting my body and not, and I've actually been working with that. Another addiction is like my addiction of thinking that I'm not very intelligent and putting myself down. I'm not good enough. That's been a really strong addiction my whole life of, like this perfection thing. And part of that came from the Mormonism, because there's just this strong, like, desire to be perfect, which the concept I think can be good. But I think sometimes the way the programming goes, it can be turned into something really toxic. And so the addiction can be physical. It can be an emotional. It can be a spiritual addiction. I mean, it's that whole concept that there is some kind of a pattern that's repetitive that one cannot seem to get out of, or one does not seem to have any control over. Willpower comes up to mind.
Well, we all live in those repetitions. We all live in like cycles. We're creatures of habits. Our days are very much one after another, mostly similar, especially if we wake up and do the same job every day.
Yeah.
We have the same routines, right? So like I could say that those are addictions, I guess. But, I think classically addiction is more of a chemical dependence of sorts, right? A chemical dependence is what people claim it to be, right? So alcoholism, drugs, sex, stuff of those natures, I think makes sense. Like how it engages with your brain and how it like gives you a sense of satisfaction that can replace. I think also like TV and computers, especially today, extremely addictive.
Oh gosh, yeah.
I think maybe the one thing that all things that are addictive have in common is that they offer escape, right? So we have like these nagging voices, these nagging feelings that like, something's not right, something's out of alignment in my life. Oh no, I start to feel the existential dread of where I'm at and like what's wrong in my life. And it's just like, oh no, let's not think about that. That would take a lot of work. Get my life in shape. Whew, that's way too much to ponder. Let's just, pop these pills or drink this booze or lose myself in some, dysfunctional relationship or something. So yeah, I mean, addiction is interesting.
Yeah. So you don't think addiction can be also like, and the psycho-spiritual,
I don't know how you would be spiritually addicted. Like, elaborate on that.
Well, I think that like people like, they're addicted to, doing yoga, or addicted only going to a spiritual, program or something where all they do is, listen to these talks.
Like
or,
being in a cult?
I mean, it could be like being in a cult, but it doesn't have to be a cult. It could be.
Well, you definitely become dependent on like an ideology, I suppose.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've heard people say they're addicted to running, and like, I wouldn't say that's an addiction. I would say that's just like, a hobby and healthy. Like, it's hard to say you're addicted to something that's healthy.
But if you can't stop doing it and you're using it as a tool it's another form of escape, like I know people who, when they stopped being an alcoholic, they just switched it to something else, like, over exercising, or over using cigarettes, or that's in the physical, or over, like, I don't know, like.
Yeah, that's it.
Being in toxic relationships, you know, like I know that's real in the AAA world. It's like to do the work and watch that you're not transferring that addiction to something else. But I don't know. I'm just asking the question.
Well, the AA things I find fascinating also. Can you be addicted to God? I don't think so, really. I mean, I don't know. That's a weird question. But so, I mean, the whole idea of AA is like you give your power up, therefore now you can quit something, which to me seems completely counterintuitive. To me, it seems like in order to quit something, you need to find your power. You need to find your willpower and then be able to like exercise your own voice of no in your own head. You know, I've been addicted to several things throughout my life. Cigarettes, alcohol, never so much, but yeah, definitely nicotine. Sugar is the biggest addictive substance on the planet, hands down. Pretty much everybody on the planet, at least everybody in the United States, is addicted to sugar. Probably like what 99% of people eat tons of sugar every single day. Hell of a drug. I love it. I'm guilty. But you know, I've also gone down other rabbit holes. You know, I've done some harder stuff for a time here and there. And I'm lucky. I don't really have an addictive personality. I'm pretty good at hitting that off switch and just saying, all right, that was interesting. Now we're going back to sober.
Yeah.
And for me, like, I'm not sure what it is. It's like, I just stop buying it. I just stop procuring whatever it is. Stop buying cigarettes, you know, stop buying alcohol. When I have cut back on sugar, and really the trick is I just stop buying it at the supermarket.
Right. If it's not in the house.
Yeah. If it's not in my cookie jar, I can't eat cookies all day, which I will. I will eat all the cookies in a day if I have them. So I realize that about myself, and I just choose not to buy them, right?
Right. Yeah. Yep. I know that exactly. I'm the same way. Yeah. It must be an ancestral thing. Yeah. But it's interesting because I feel like I have really struggled with self-control in some ways, you know, and I don't consider myself an alcoholic, but I have noticed that there's times where my life has felt so stressful. It's like, no, I'm having a glass of wine and get out of my way, you know, or like I'll be like, oh, I'm not going to go and drink at this party. And I get there, I'm like, yeah, I really want to. Everybody's having a good time. You know, I'm saying like that. Like I'm also grateful I haven't had that. Cigarettes was easy to give up. You know, I definitely dabbled in drugs, never got addicted to anything like that. But it is interesting. It's like, I feel like more of my lack of control, because that's what I think of addiction. It's like you don't have that willpower, right? There's something, and I do know that there is a difference. I do know that there is, like, I have been in a relationship with alcoholics, and there is something very different about someone who really does have the disease, and watching them, like, there is that, like, it's just different. Like, they don't have that thought process or that being able to just stop it, you know?
Well, what happens is, so you have your internal voice, which tells you, like, you rationally you can think, I don't need to drink anymore. But when you're actually addicted, you have another secondary voice, which is louder, which is like, hey, you got to go buy the bottle. You got to go stop at the liquor store. Yeah. I remember talking to my friend Brian before he passed away, and he was like, I was like, why don't you just not buy the liquor? Because he was an alcoholic. He was on a lot of drugs. And he was like, oh, I don't know. I just get off work and then I'm in the liquor store parking lot. It's like just happens subconsciously, I guess, for him. It's, so what is that mechanism exactly? I don't know. But if you practice being addicted too long, I will say, just looking at, you know, the drug addicts on the street, at some point you lose your voice and it gets replaced by the drug voice. Like it almost like possesses you, like these substances to some degree, somehow. Where like they override your normal natural ability to think like logically, to think about yourself in a way that is sober. And so you replace it. I do have an issue with, though, like quantifying these things as a disease, right? So if you're like, I'm an alcoholic, I have a disease, like what does that really mean? Right? Like I kind of get it, but at the same time you're saying I have a disease, therefore I'm no longer in control. Like when you admit that, you're kind of like giving away your power completely. Like I am powerless, right? It's the disease drinking, right? Yeah. There's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah, I mean, that's interesting because in the AA world and all that, they might have a big problem with that, right?
Oh, they would. Maybe.
Yeah, I think they'd have a big problem with that, because that a lot of people have been just like, well, just get over it, you know, just stop. And they're like, you don't understand. We have to qualify that this is a real disease. I think it can be both. I think it can be a real disease. And I think you can teach people also that they don't have to give all their power away to it and be like, oh, now I just can't help myself, or I can't do anything because, you know, I have this disease. Because I do understand what you're saying is like our thoughts are powerful. And if you're telling yourself something about yourself, you know, then it takes away that ability to, you know, have that responsibility and to move forward in a way that's productive and not a victim, right? Too, you know, and that might be really unpopular too. And we're just having a conversation here.
I mean, this is my opinion. At the end of the day, I'm not an alcoholic.
Yeah.
And obviously the way that, you know, AA does it does seem to work, right?
Yeah.
It has a, you know, probably larger than average success rate when compared to most other options that have been provided out there. So do what's going to work for you, right?
Absolutely.
Even if that's you need a couple beers after work and you're going to drink some beers, it's like, I'm not telling you not to, right? We all have vices. We all got to do something. And at the end of the day, we have to live with those decisions, right? So are the consequences great? If they are, well, maybe we should look at our addictions and shift things.
Yeah.
Hardest addiction for me in my life, I mean, probably sugar. I just to open up here. So nicotine, obviously I smoked cigarettes several times, was able to quit them cold turkey without any issues. Somehow the tobacco industry made nicotine more addictive with like pouches and vapes. So the modern iteration of nicotine is harder to quit, I would argue. I have currently and in the past done pouches, and pretty damn awesome, gotta say. Hard to quit.
Oh my God.
I did coke for a while. It's a pretty rough substance, pretty bad for you.
It's not good.
About 6 months when I was run ragged. I was working way too hard, really miserable, no energy, no happiness, because I was working 60-hour weeks at UPS at the time. And I found this substance through a friend. I was like, oh, I have energy and I'm happy, and like, you know, pretty addictive. Once again, though, I quit it easy. It was just easy to leave behind.
It's amazing.
But yeah, I'd say sugar, nicotine, and pornography, probably the biggest addictions maybe on the planet. And they are all very hard to get rid of.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I mean, like what I always think about when I think about addiction too is like, what's the underbelly? What's the underscore? Like you were saying, trying to escape. So I think that for me, when I'm dealing with my own personal addictions now, especially more than I'm more mature and I've, you know, done a lot of healing in my life on a lot of different levels, I'm always looking at, you know, what's out of balance? What am I not being nourished? Like, what is that hole inside of me that is dissatisfied, right? And sometimes what I have found, it's not even a thing. It's not a relationship. It's, you know, like, yes, there's layers of like, I don't like my job. I don't have enough money, you know, all of these things. But as what I have found as I go through the layers of what's wrong, it usually comes back to, I have a lost sense of self. I don't really know who I am. I don't know that sense of peace and self-love. I've gotten off track. I'm trying to be something that I can't. I'm thinking I want a bunch of money and I can never get there. So fuck it. I'm just going to, you know, it's like those kinds of things. Or I'm giving myself away and I'm exhausted. And then I'm telling myself I have to do this for everybody. You know, it's like I'm giving my power away. And as I started to look at those things and heal those things, right? You know, then it's like, and coming back to that core sense of self and self-love, then suddenly these things didn't have as much grip on me, you know, because now I've been in a huge food, I've been learning about food and it's medicine and doing a big food healing segment in my life. And for the first time in my life, I don't feel like I'm starving. Like I don't have this anxiety around food like I've had my entire life. I'm trusting myself. I'm eating many times a day, but it's taken a long time to get here, right? So I've had to go to that feeling and what that, you know, like reframing what food is, you know, like, okay, this is medicine. It's not a way to escape or it's, you know, so a long way around I'm talking about is like, trying to discover what's the wrong. Because I know people say, oh, if I just get a girlfriend and I can just, you know, have sex whenever I want, or I can do this, that's gonna, then I won't need these vices. But a lot of times those aren't the things. You have to go deeper behind that. What's the heart wounding? What's the wounding in your life? And I think that's the bigger focus, that if I could wave a magic wand on the planet, that we could help people meditate, have healthy food, figure out who you are and what your dream is. Because if you're building your dream and you're kind of connected to a purpose and feeling good about yourself, you know what? A lot of this stuff isn't going to be there. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I think,
I don't know.
via my definition,
I don't know if we can get there.
a drug is something used to escape. I think a very good question to ask is, what are we escaping from, right? We're just escaping from our state of being. We're escaping from having to think about our lives and the world and the state of everything, how we fit into it. We have to think about, the evil that we are involved in and complicit in. We have to think about, how insignificant and small we feel in the scheme of such a big world, and how kind of helpless we are in some aspects. Like there's a lot to be pessimistic about, and to ponder and to come to peace with. And like you said, I don't know if we ever will completely, but the reasons are there, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's more personal. A lot of times you're in a relationship that's, been at a dead end for the last 3 years and you just don't know how to end it. A lot of times you've been in a job that you're just not happy, you're not satisfied, and you're not being, rewarded or creative at all. And so you just feel stuck. And you don't want to think about that because, well, how do I quit my job? Then I'm not going to have money. And it's like this big, this big, like mental maze that you just wind through and wander through and think through and ponder and like just kind of are miserable in, right? You're trying to like figure out a way out of the maze. And so it's like, the maze is too hard. Let's just fucking forget about it for a while and do something else and just hit the bottle. Or I will also say, so escapism, probably if that's the definition, my biggest addiction is computers at this point. Just digesting media, just turning off the brain, watching two people on a podcast talk about their problems so you don't have to deal with your own problems, right? Watching random videos that mean nothing at the end of the day, but just at least distracted me and gave me a laugh for the last like 5 minutes, right? But it doesn't really actually contribute to you. It doesn't actually contribute to building your dream. It doesn't actually contribute to constructing anything. It doesn't even contribute to you understanding yourself any better, because you just turn yourself off. You turn off, you disengage from whatever we're escaping from and ignore it, right?
Yeah.
So what are we escaping from? What are we ignoring?
Yeah.
And I'm asking myself, and I'm asking you, it's worth looking at.
Yeah, it is. And that kind of ties back around also to the, who are you hanging around? Because if you're hanging around people who are telling you you can do it, and go for it, and okay, I hear you, you're feeling down, but let's go for a walk. Or, if you're hanging out with people who are, influencing you that to support you in your dream, that's always going to help that, I can't do it, But if you're hanging out with people who are like, yeah, it's fucked, give up, don't do it, you can't do that, then guess what? You're just going to be like, yeah, let's just go have some beers and get drunk, So that also ties back around to this, piece too, is like, who you hanging out with, and be around people that inspire you.
What was your hardest addiction in your entire life, do you feel?
That's a hard one. I mean, so for me, I kind of go to, I would say food. Food? Probably the sugar. Sugar is just because you can't get away from food. Other things I could stop and, I would say food, and later on alcohol, like I just really wanted to party, and I didn't have to do it, but I wanted to do it. It was a choice of, like, yeah, I'm having a good time. Let's keep it going, like every night. Yeah. I think that was also a lot of my rebellion after I left the church too, because, growing up in the Mormon church, there's so like, don't drink and don't do this. And I didn't really learn about I didn't really know a lot about myself in a lot of different ways. And so when I left the church, it was just like, I went completely out of control. and I really got in a lot of dangerous situations, quite frankly. But I learned a lot. I got a lot of data from those experiences. A lot of experience. Woo! Yeah, but I would say, yeah, those are probably my two.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
yeah. I feel fortunate, you know, because I did do quite a few drugs for a while too. I could have easily, you know, but luckily I didn't. That one didn't take, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yep, we all have to go through those discovery processes, you know, and a lot of times we don't even know we're addicted until after the fact, or some sort of rock bottom where it clicks, you know. A lot of times we don't have the awareness to really see that a problem has formed or that there's an escape happening, right? It's easy to just be unconscious about it. And like my friend said, he gets off work and then he's just in the liquor store parking lot. He didn't even think about it. That's just the unconscious pattern that he's in, you know?
Yeah.
So look in the mirror, you know, ask yourself, who are you? You know, what are you escaping from and why? You're a beautiful person doing all sorts of cool things with a creative mind and a loving heart. It's like, you know, refocus there.
And a lot of relevant stuff that you need to bring to the world. We're waiting for you, man.
Yeah, what do you want, me to do it all? Come on, guys.
Join the party. Come on. The non-alcoholic get your shit together party.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy how rampant alcoholism was in our family. And I feel like everybody's kind of like, nobody drinks anymore. You know, it's been a weird paradigm shift.
Yeah, there's been a lot of healing in our family. Yeah, it's interesting because we always come together and go, let's get drunk.
Oh, yeah.
And now we're all just like, hey, you know, let's have a conversation.
Let's go to bed.
Actually, you know what? Yeah, that happens. But it's more like, hey, let's sit around the fire and make some s'mores.
Let's go in the hot tub and talk about, you know, existential, paranormal.
Oh, that's true.
Stuff until the wee hours of the morning.
Yeah, let's talk about some really out there stuff.
That's for a different podcast.
For sure. Yeah. Anyway. Okay. Well, here's to another couple weeks, and let's keep persevering and
glorious.
Building it, man.
Yep, building it.
Yeah, and looking at what's under the surface, moving away from our addictions, making different choices.
Yep. Piece by piece, brick by brick.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being here with us, guys. We love you. Hope you're having a great day, and
we'll see you down the road.
Wrap it up. See you next time. Ciao, Bella. Be well.
Oh,
what?
Let's do a quick. I'm gonna do addiction. You're gonna do Field of Dreams.
Oh, okay. What is Field of Dreams?
Exactly. Take 5 seconds.
Okay.